What if I told you the cast of one of the greatest Bond films ever made has virtually vanished? In 1977, The Spy Who Loved Me exploded onto screens with a submarine tanker, a metal-toothed giant, and the most equal partner Bond girl in history. It made Roger Moore a superstar and defined an era of cool. But today, the majority of its iconic cast are gone. The survivors are in their late 70s and 80s, living lives far removed from the glamour of Pinewood Studios. Their stories aren't just about movie magic. They're about war heroes, tragic accidents, secret marriages to rock legends, and one heartbreaking, private battle with illness that ended a legendary career. We're going through every main cast member, showing you exactly how they looked in 1977, what happened to them after the cameras stopped rolling, and what they look like now. The final story will stay with you. Let's begin. Number 1. Bernard Lee as M. Then, Bernard Lee was James Bond's boss. From 1962's Dr. No to this film, he defined the role of M, authoritative, no-nonsense, the very picture of the British establishment. A classically trained stage actor, he brought a weight and history to the role that no successor has ever quite matched. In The Spy Who Loved Me, his frustration with Bond's rogue actions is palpable and masterful. Now, Bernard Lee's story is one of quiet, dignified tragedy. He was diagnosed with stomach cancer in 1976 during the filming of this movie. He kept his illness a secret and continued working, completing his scenes for the next Bond film, Moonraker. He was too ill to promote it. Bernard Lee died on January 16, 1981, at just 63 years old. The Bond franchise honored him with a dedication at the start of the next film, For Your Eyes Only. His final years were spent in pain, but he worked until he physically could not, a testament to his commitment. The original M is gone, but his legacy as the definitive head of MI6 remains untouched. Number 2. Lois Maxwell as Miss Moneypenny. Then, Lois Maxwell was the original Miss Moneypenny, the eternally hopeful, witty, and clever secretary to M, a real-life war hero. She served in the Canadian Women's Army Corps during World War II. She brought a sharp intelligence and a touch of melancholic longing to the role. Her chemistry with Roger Moore was playful and perfect, a constant comforting fixture in the Bond office. Now, after leaving the Bond series in 1985, Lois Maxwell successfully reinvented herself as a society columnist for the Toronto Sun. She lived a full life away from Hollywood. Sadly, she was diagnosed with colon cancer. Lois Maxwell passed away on September 29, 2007, in Ontario, Canada, at the age of 80. She is remembered not just as Bond's iconic secretary, but as a versatile actress and a woman of remarkable resilience who served her country before she entertained the world. Number 3. Desmond Llewelyn as Q. Then Desmond Llewelyn was Q, the quartermaster, the man of 1,000 gadgets. A World War II prisoner of war held by the Germans for 5 years, he brought a world-weary patience and genius to the role. His scenes in The Spy Who Loved Me are legendary, especially the unveiling of the Lotus Esprit submarine car. He played Q as a perpetually exasperated but proud grandfather figure, and it was brilliant. Now, Desmond Llewelyn's story has one of the most shocking endings. On December 19, 1999, just after promoting the film The World Is Not Enough, he was killed in a head-on car collision on a Sussex highway. He was 85. His death was a profound loss to the Bond family. He had appeared in 17 Bond films, more than any other actor. In his final film, he had a poignant scene passing the torch to his assistant. It was as if he knew his wife of 54 years survived him. Desmond Llewelyn is, and always will be, the one and only Q. Number 4. Caroline Munro as Naomi. Then, Caroline Munro was the stunning, deadly helicopter pilot for the villain Stromberg. A Hammer horror film star before Bond, she was one of the most breathtakingly beautiful women in genre cinema. As Naomi, she had minimal dialogue but maximum impact, a vision of lethal glamour before Bond dispatches her with a Stinger missile. Now, this is a fantastic update. Caroline Munro is still with us, now in her mid-70s. She remains incredibly active on the fan convention circuit, beloved by horror and Bond fans alike. She has aged with grace and beauty and is consistently praised for her kindness and engagement with fans. She has spoken fondly of her time on the film, proud of her place in Bond history. She is living proof that a Bond girl can have a long, respected, and joyful life far beyond the screen. Number 5. Kurt Jürgens as Karl Stromberg. Then, Kurt Jürgens was the villain, Karl Stromberg. The 6'4" German-Austrian actor brought a chilling, cerebral, and physically imposing presence to the role. A major star in European cinema with over 100 films to his name, he played Stromberg not as a flamboyant Fonza, but as a cold, detached visionary with a god complex. His quiet menace, especially in the scene where he feeds a woman to his sharks, is unforgettable. Now, Kurt Jürgens' post-Bond life was short. He died of a heart attack on June 18, 1982, in Vienna, Austria. He was only 66. His final years were marked by declining health and a gradual retreat from major roles. He is buried in Vienna's famed Zentralfriedhof Cemetery. While perhaps less discussed than other Bond villains, his performance in The Spy Who Loved Me is a masterclass in quiet, ambitious evil. He was gone too soon. Number 6. Barbara Bach as Major Anya Amasova. Then, Barbara Bach's Major Anya Amasova was revolutionary. She wasn't a damsel, she was Bond's equal, a top KGB agent who tracks him, outsmarts him, and matches him drink for drink and wit for wit. Her chemistry with Roger Moore was electric, a blend of rivalry, respect, and genuine romance. Bach brought intelligence, strength, and vulnerability to the role, making Anya one of the greatest partners in Bond history. Now, Barbara Bach's real-life story is the stuff of legend. After this film, she essentially retired from acting. In 1981, she married Ringo Starr, the Beatles' drummer. They are still married today, over 40 years later, one of entertainment's most enduring couples. She has largely stayed out of the spotlight, focusing on family and humanitarian work. Now in her late 70s, she lives a private, peaceful life. Her happy ending wasn't on screen, it was with a Beatle. She remains a revered figure in the Bond world, a symbol of a strong, independent woman who found her true love away from the cameras. Number 7A. Roger Moore as James Bond. Then, this was Roger Moore's third, and by his own admission, his favorite Bond film. He perfected the persona here, the raised eyebrow, the effortless charm, the perfect comedic timing, the genuine danger when needed. He made Bond a sophisticated, humorous, and surprisingly romantic figure. The film's success cemented him as the definitive Bond for a generation. His performance is a masterclass in charisma. Now, Roger Moore made 4 more Bond films before retiring in 1985. He became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, following Audrey Hepburn's path, and was knighted in 2012 for his charitable work. He remained a beloved public figure for decades. In 2017, after a battle with cancer, Sir Roger Moore died peacefully in Switzerland at age 89. His family's statement said he passed as he had lived, with great dignity and style. The world mourned a true gentleman. His legacy is immense. He made Bond funny, human, and endlessly watchable. In The Spy Who Loved Me, he gave the performance of his career. So that's the cast of The Spy Who Loved Me. From Bernard Lee's secret battle to Roger Moore's dignified farewell, from Barbara Bach's real-life fairy tale to Caroline Munro's enduring grace, their lives after 1977 tell stories as compelling as any spy thriller. Only one main cast member from the film is no longer with us? No, the majority are gone. The ones who remain carry the weight of history and their own private journeys. Which story affected you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.